What's going on YouTube? This is LA Prepper, and I'm a little tired. Been kind of a long day. I made the mistake of trying to fix something by calling customer service today. Leave that for another story. I will leave that for another time. What are we talking about today? Well, today we're going to talk about the hike that I went on. Gorgeous hike. In fact, I'm a little bit grumpy right now on account of the bullcrap I've had to deal with today, so I'm hoping talking about this hike will lift my spirits a little bit. So, went on a hike last Saturday. Talk about a few things. First of all, the weather. Oh. Let me tell you, I got out of the car at, when did we get up there? I don't know, 9:30, 9:45. And it was cold. It was cold, rainy, and windy. Now, I knew it was going to be cold, rainy, and windy when I got there. But, man, it was cold, rainy, and windy. It was probably about 50 degrees. Medium rain, and I don't know, 5 to 10 knots of wind, maybe 7, 8 knots of wind. So yeah, as we continued on the hike, it was mostly just a little bit of rain. We caught a couple spots where the wind kind of picked up because of the canyon, but not unbearable. I did use the poncho and the gloves that Die Bullfrog got me, so thank you, Die Bullfrog, for that. I do need to pick up some hiking boots and some better pants and a jacket or something. I may or may not. I will probably make another video talking about that as relates to my GoFundMe adventure fund. So stay tuned for a video about that. But yeah, so the weather wasn't that big of a deal. I will say that going out at this time of the year, it was very green, very unexpectedly green. In fact, the hike there was a lot of unexpected things about the hike. It was a lot rockier than I thought. Just like boulders and rocks and walking on solid rocks and rock cliffs. And I know the mountains are made out of rock, but man, I sure saw a lot of it. For whatever reason, the landscape was kind of a lot different than when you drive up the hill. You see kind of a lot of sage and little less rocky, so to speak, if that makes any sense. But this hike, for whatever reason, I don't know, a lot more rocks. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but you'd have to be there to believe it. And speaking of being there, seeing is believing, I did not get one single video or photograph, partly because it was pouring when I left, and my phone's not waterproof. I didn't want to drop it on a rock. And I was wearing gloves because it was cold, and trying to work the phone with gloves is not really happening. So forgive me for not getting any video. The guy that I went with did take a couple pictures, so I'll have to bug him for a couple photos of that just so I can post it up. I promise that in the future I will get video and photographs of my trips out. I might pick up a cheap little $20 or $30 camera just so I don't have to worry about messing up my phone. My phone's a good camera, but I don't really kind of like to keep my phone in the car for emergencies. And since most of the places I hike, the reception is so bad, unless I use it as a map or as a PDF document holder for things like first aid, which isn't a terrible idea. Yeah, so anyways. Wildlife. Well, we didn't see much wildlife. I saw a skunk. Poor little guy was so wet, his fur, usually they're all fluffy looking, but it was all, the guy was drenched, the poor little guy was drenched, and he was kind of heading off up into the hills. And if I had my hunting license, it's a non-game mammal, I could have taken the skunk, but I don't have any strong desires to shoot a skunk. I wasn't starving, I don't need a skunk pelt. And poor little guy was having a rough day anyways, so at any rate, few birds, Didn't see any mountain lions. Part of the reason I was interested in going up in the wet weather is because I thought I might see a track or two, but didn't really see any tracks. It was kind of mountain lion area, but didn't see any mountain lions, didn't see any goats, didn't see bears. We actually hiked through Bear Canyon, so I guess at some point there were more bears there, but I didn't see any bears. It was funny, the guy I was with, I had a hatchet and have a hatchet, and it was on my back and it fell off. And he was like, just put it in your pack, I don't think we're going to see any bears. And I thought it was funny that my hiking buddy thought that I was going to be using this axe to defend myself against a bear, which, I don't have any bear spray, so I guess it would be my knife or the axe, right? Wood crafting. Did not do any crafting when I was out there. I actually saw a little bit of evidence of somebody else doing some crafting. There was kind of a teepee with a little mat laid down, so you could tell somebody was working at it. I don't necessarily think that hikes with other people are they may or may not turn out to be a good opportunity to do bushcraft stuff. I'll have to talk with my hiking buddies and say, like, look, do you have any interest? Are you willing to put up with me, making videos here and there? Because sometimes I just want to mess around for a half an hour, and I don't know if the person I'm with necessarily cares about person that I'm hiking with, or people that I go hiking with, if they care about watching me do woodcraft for 30 minutes, right? Maybe if I was hiking with some more YouTubers, maybe we could all take a 30-minute video break and all be making our videos, right? Wouldn't that be funny to see like 3 or 4 people on the trail all with their selfie sticks, chopping wood in one hand, holding the camera in their other? But wanted to explore a couple things. Didn't get to take a look at a fire trail. Was hoping to take a look at the fire trail, see how well it's developed, see what that was about. I did get the water filter thing, so I'll probably try to take that with me next time. There was definitely a lot of water. Probably super, super clean water, especially since there's so few deer. And as far as I understood, deer are the main carriers of Giardia. I don't know if Giardia is just kind of a natural bacteria or if it's more animal related, but Giardia. I don't know how to spell it right. Oh. It's a parasite, huh? Little bastard. But at any rate, parasites are gross. So it's a gorgeous hike. Definitely recommend it. I'm planning on getting up there in the future, of course, with my adventure pass. Thank you again to the GoFundMe supporters for that. So all in all, successful trip. Definitely need to pick up some more gear, namely some better all-weather pants. And it doesn't rain a lot, right? So I'm not really in Southern California, so I'm not necessarily trying to go out buy $100 of rain gear and then it's going to be sunny the rest of the year until, September, October, right? So I'll give it a couple more weeks here, see what the weather does. In fact, just out of curiosity, what's the weather look like for this weekend? Although I'm going somewhere, so maybe I won't go hiking this weekend. Raining on Saturday and Sunday. Hilarious. In fact, it is freaking pouring. It's going to be pouring, 50% chance of pouring during the day, rising up to 55% by 6 o'clock. So, yeah, probably going to be raining this weekend. Oh well. And the place that I'm going is actually going to be sunny. Okay. So, without making this video too long, gorgeous hike. Oh man, I wish I could have got a picture of some of the views. Really, really interesting hike. You kind of start up on a hill and then you kind of follow the ridge down and then you go down to the canyon. And then we're kind of walking along the canyon, all these different water crossings, which, I'm not too worried about getting my feet wet, other than the fact that it was really cold and I didn't want to get, hypothermia from walking around in wet feet. And I think my feet actually were kind of wet during more of the hike than I would have normally liked. But, we headed back to the car early. My hiking partner had to get back to the city, which is a little bit frustrating because I had kind of set out this day to go for a hike weeks in advance. So the fact that the day of, my hiking buddy's like, oh, can I be back to the city by 2? You know, almost, I wasn't that close to canceling on him, but it definitely made me think that towards the future, like, don't make dinner plans on a day that you have planned to go hiking. I mean, that's just my opinion. Like, because I feel like it kind of goes without being said that hiking's kind of an all-day thing. So if you have something an all-day thing, now granted, we're not really close friends. We haven't hung out a lot. I just met the guy at hunting school, or whatever. So, you know, no big deal. But I mean, let me know what you guys think. You know, you guys think if you wanted to go plan a day trip, like say you're going to go to the beach, and all of a sudden, the night before you go to the beach, your buddy's like, oh, I want to leave the beach by 2 o'clock, or I've got to be home by 2 o'clock or something. Like, okay, well, then why don't you just, like, not go to the beach? You know, I don't know. Maybe just because I'm in a bad mood today, I'm getting sour about it. But, you know, safety in numbers. It's always safer to go hiking with someone. And definitely there were some parts of the trail that were there was one part of the trail where you kind of walk up and you realize you can't see anything down. You get a little closer and it's like a 100-foot cliff. Just right next to the trail. Just boom, just cliff right there. And there were a couple spots where you slip and there's nothing to hold on to. Kind of sketchy stuff. So definitely good to be hiking with a buddy, assuming they could catch you and they got quick reflexes, right? But at any rate, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, keep prepping.